Hello, welcome to another message from Open Cyphas. On the topic of definitions, I'll be dealing with judgment. First of all, the definition of judgment. Basically, the ability to make considered decisions or come to sensible conclusions, or an opinion or conclusion. Right. I'm going to tackle the good and the bad of judgment, because there is good and bad when it comes to judgment. First of all, a misconception. Let me give you an example. Imagine you are, just minding your business. You're probably on a bus or something, and someone comes up to you and they, say, I find you looking like a nice person, like my blood take you. You just seem nice, whatever. You look like a nice person. You look like you're very kind, whatnot. Your reaction most likely would be, oh, thank you. You may be flattered to an extent. If they were to come up and like, I feel you're a real nasty person, you're a real dirty dog, you will all of a sudden be like, what? And you will say the typical thing that most people say, stop judging me. And from what I see, both scenarios, the person would be judging you. But apparently we only have a problem when it begins to, attack who we are, attack our conscience, attack our comfort zone. So that is not looking at judgment in the right view, because as I said before, both of these scenarios would be judging, but we only have a problem with bad judgment when it affects us rather than having a problem with bad judgment, period. Matthew chapter 7 from verse 1, it speaks about judgment. It basically says, if you don't want somebody judging you in a certain way, then do not judge that person in that certain way. So for instance, judging someone on appearance, some folks might see a Rasta man with tattoos and they'll be like, oh, he's a Christian. And that is not the proper judgment, because if someone were to judge you, if they see you how you just look when you wake up in the morning and they judge you based on that, you would not like that. So Matthew chapter 7 verse 1 speaks about that. And when it goes down to verse 3 and 5, it basically speaks about hypocrisy within our judgment. Why are we judging others based on standards that we fall short of? It's hypocrisy basically. Clean up yourself first, then make judgment. And if we were to look at most of the people who are making bad judgments, you will see that they themselves are not perfect. So the Bible warns about that. The main reason why we should not judge is basically because we have the wrong criteria. We do not know the person, we do not know what's going through their head, we don't know their heart, we don't know the scenario. Therefore, we are not in the right position to make that judgment. If you look at a court, the judge would need to get the evidence of the scenario. The judge will need to hear both sides of the story, so then he'll have proper information in order to make that judgment. Of course, he should be in the sound mind. Right? So that is an example of good judgment. Not going to go into good judgment as yet. But bad judgment, if you do not know the facts, if you do not know anything about the person, shut him out. Simple as that. So that's why, like, first impressions, I do not like to hold on to first impressions. Why? Because my first impression will be based on sight. My seeing the person and whatever vibes I get from that person would not be enough for me to make a proper judgment and say, what, I think he's this, that, and the other. So I dismiss first impressions because they are usually wrong. I'll wait for the person to, reveal themselves, and then I could say, oh, this person is a nice person. Oh, this person is talkative. Oh, this person is whatever. And that judgment will be based upon the right things rather than the wrong. But join me in part 2 and I'll explain what good judgment is.